Well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Again, some of you came in a little bit later. So I'm from the American Independent Business Alliance, or AMIBA, the Director of Operations and Shop Indie Local Coordinator, and you are at the Local Leaders Roundtable. So this is definitely your roundtable. I'm going to give an overview of some of the resources we have for partners. Don't worry if you're like, partners, what's that? Because you'll have a chance to sign on if you want. But it really is, this represents a year-round movement, and during the holiday season is when things get really fired up. So you are the movement, and we are here to really encourage people to choose local first, whether that's shopping, investing, volunteering, giving. It's all included in this campaign. But like I mentioned, today we're sharing an overview of the Shop Indie Local holiday season and how one independent business alliance, I'm hoping Cambridge Local First, Pooja is going to share. If she hasn't come yet, hopefully she'll be here to talk about how they're going to celebrate. If not, we'll jump right into some of the other campaigns that are included in Shop Indie Local. But then we really want to hear from you. How do you plan to celebrate? What are your questions and ideas? And especially what obstacles you might be facing? Because the more I get from you, the more I can do some research and get back to you and really make this campaign work for you and your communities. Let me just get back to this. So this year we have some new imagery that we're rolling out. So Shop Indie Local Holiday Campaign is one of our 6 campaigns that we've carried out in 2022. It's our last campaign. I know a lot of you have participated maybe in Independence Month. Eat Indie Local months are still happening. So this is our last one of the year. So our goal is to collect best practices and baseline metrics for each campaign, and then working with all of you, our partners, identify ways to elevate our reach, engagement, and impact. So it's really about sending out our feelers, seeing what's been happening over the last couple of years, consolidating it, sharing it, digesting it, and making it better for everybody this year and following years. So in terms of collecting best practice, we collected them all in a Google Doc, and that's really to encourage collaboration and new ideas. So I'm going to just share that document, and everybody who signs on as a partner will get a link to this. So don't worry about, taking notes or anything like that. So when you open up the Google Doc, it really is something that you can share with everybody in your organization. Don't feel like you can't share it. The reason why we only share it with partners is because we want to encourage people to sign on so that we can keep in touch with you. So we encourage you to use these resources to build a successful campaign. Feel free to add your questions and new ideas right into the document. Don't be shy. It'll just show up as like a comment, so you won't be, deleting anything. Or if you're more comfortable, just email me at jenrisley@amiba.net, and then I'll put the stuff in there for you. Some quick details. This year, we're running the campaign from November 1st to December 31st. Those of you who participated last year might have remembered us starting in September or October. But really, you can start earlier if you want. You can end earlier if you want. But we're just going to focus on that time frame this year. There are links to images and logos. There are links to press release templates and social media examples. As we get closer to November 1st, we'll add more updated information and images. But just feel free to start pouring through those things now and telling me what's missing. If you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see our timeline, and it features a menu of, you can think of them as mini events or campaigns that fall under Shop Indie Local Holiday umbrella, so that it's not the same message that you're putting out for those 2 months. You can choose different messaging, different events to really get your community engaged throughout the campaign. These are options. They're definitely not requirements. So don't look at this list and go, there's no way I can do it all. It really is like you're at a restaurant, pick what you want and run with it. So in November, we use the American Booksellers Association's fall marketing campaign. They do an awesome job, shop early. So if you go to this link and just hover over it, you'll see a preview of the resource most of the time. And then if you click on this link, it'll take you to the resource. So again, this is kind of a clearinghouse of everything, but then you can go to each link, learn more about what it means, get any resources that they might have. Like they have great assets for Instagram, Facebook, sample text for newsletters. So all that information is there if you decide to do that mini campaign. You can see that we try to keep things going even before Thanksgiving season is when we've traditionally started this campaign in the past. But we just realized, here comes Jennifer. We just realized that a lot of people have already started shopping. So we start in November 1st with a Give More campaign. That's really trying to get people who are already bought in to shopping local to go ahead and set their intentions early through a Give More campaign. So there's imagery and blog samples in that. We talk about passports and raffles because a lot of our community get people shopping locally with those little incentives. Last year, we had a little mini Eat Local Thanksgiving campaign that some people tried out. So again, those resources are there. That's something that's compelling to you. We discovered Pink Friday last year. Again, if that's something that intrigues you, you can learn more about that. And then I'll talk more about our Shop Indie Local week or weekend opportunity. A lot of folks struggled with keeping the momentum up after that November push. So we've come up with some ideas for December, whether that's focusing on fairs and online marketplaces that you might be able to point people to who are looking for unique handmade gifts. And then before you know it, it feels like it's too late to shop locally. So on that December, well, it won't be December 18th this year, but that last Saturday before Christmas, some people call it Super Saturday. Some people call it Panic Saturday. That's kind of our last opportunity before Christmas to talk about, well, it's not too late to shop local. So we have some campaign ideas there. And then we wrap it up with even clearance sales and setting our intentions for next year's Shop Indie Local season. So that this spreadsheet has more below, dives in a little bit deeper to the different campaigns and ideas that people have brought to the table in past years. So definitely, if you haven't looked at it or you haven't seen, this is your first time seeing it, keep scrolling down to see even more. So again, if you haven't signed on as a Shop Indie Local partner yet, no problem. I'll share the link in the chat, and I'll also send an email following up. So those of you who are new to the campaign can sign on. Also, when you sign in as a partner, I'll send you weekly updates that help digest all those ideas that I just showed you, because there is a lot. And also new things that we discover, because every year someone will take one aspect of what's in the Google Doc and turn it into something even better. So you kind of want to stay tuned for how we're all using it in the future. If you're very, very new to this and you feel overwhelmed by that huge list, we definitely don't want to keep you from participating. So we invite you to start with one event, and that's Plaid Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Plaid Friday celebrates the diversity and creativity of local and independent businesses, hence the plaid with the different colors kind of weaving in and out of each other to make this, interesting, depending on what type of shirt you're wearing, interesting fabric. It's a fun alternative to Black Friday and the consumer frenzy that usually incurs. Also, it's a way for individuals to actually show their support for the local economy. And the call to action is simple. Just ask community members to wear plaid. It could be a plaid ribbon, a plaid hat, a plaid shirt, head to toe plaid. We've seen that too. The day after Thanksgiving, and that's to show their commitment to others, but also reinvest in themselves, that they're going to shop at locally owned businesses during the holiday season. On our website, we actually have some resources there. So if you want to dive in, if this is your first time thinking about Plaid Friday, you can see more about the history, how one independent business alliance participates and how it engages other businesses to be hubs. So definitely take a look at that. And if people are interested in hearing more, we can dive into that that particular campaign. If you want to keep that weekend love going, helps if there we go. So Plaid Friday is the day after Thanksgiving. Most people know about Small Business Saturday, which is that Saturday before. In our community, I live in Keene, New Hampshire. Small Business Saturday is really overshadowed by Plaid Friday because we've been doing it for over 10 years. Small Business Saturday is a great campaign. I think the hard part is knowing how much the American Express is going to be pushing it this year and helping people with giving you swag and things like that. So it's kind of nice to know that it's there if it works for your community, but not be waiting till the last minute to start designing your campaign. But on that Google Doc, I point to resources from past year so that you can go to that website, and as soon as it's updated, you'll see it. Artist Sunday is a new one for us. I think this will be our 3rd year celebrating it, and it is all about handmade and art. It gives artists in your community a chance to, shine. So that is another campaign that's run by another organization, but we amplify it. Cider Monday is a play on Cyber Monday. I sometimes get people who go, "Oh, you got a typo." It's not a typo. That was actually our local bookstore, Willard Williams, the owner, or the prior owner. He dreamed this up because he was feeling really frustrated about, Cyber Monday and how can we talk about the impacts of online shopping to especially booksellers. So he came back to me a week later and said, "Let's do Cider Monday." Again, simple. Put hot cider out, put cold cider out for people and talk about the impacts of them coming to your business instead of buying online. Some people get, cider muffins and things like that, but it really is a chance to just keep that conversation going. Online, we'll talk a lot about the impacts of Amazon and others. But again, it can be a pretty simple event when you're just starting out, and you can make it as detailed as you want it to be or as big as you want it to be, if that's one that works for you. Giving Tuesday, that's more of the nonprofit side. So it's a chance to talk about giving back with your money, your time, and your talents. So that one's a fantastic event to also participate in. Because it is a way to kind of get those nonprofits to the table, especially talking to them because they like to ask people to shop at Amazon through Amazon Smile. So it's kind of a natural conversation to start talking about the issues and the implications of asking people to shop at Amazon at the same breath going to local business owners and asking them for donations. So it's kind of that we don't emphasize that, but it is just a bridge to talking about those things. So I don't think that Pooja is here, but Jennifer Rubenstein, you're here. I kind of jumped right into things, but do you want to give a little quick hello?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I see some familiar faces and some new faces, and sorry, I was running behind. My dad had a procedure this morning and it just took longer to be his chauffeur than I anticipated, but all is well and excited to be here to, refresh. I mean, obviously we've been doing holiday campaigns forever, and, for some folks new to it, that's so awesome. And then for people like me, I have to battle like keeping it fresh and frankly cynicism, but but it's all good. We find something new and fun to do every year. Sometimes I'm dreading it going into it, but then in the thick of it, we're always got our new stuff and happy to be part of it. So
Cool. Thanks, Jen. Sorry to put you on the spot there.
No, it's all good. And we've done a variety of different things. What I like about the AMIBA stuff is, it's the menu to choose from, and again, so keeping it fresh every year is great. But also, like you said, your Plaid Friday has been around for so long, and that's a wonderful thing too.
Yeah, great. So keeping it fresh, again, American Booksellers Association always seems to keep it really fresh every year. I always love their fall campaign. So this is their campaign for this year. Good books come to those who shop early. And again, if you're like me, it feels a little uncomfortable to talk about shopping local or shopping for the holiday season now. But there are those people who are already thinking about it. So this is a nice campaign if you're talking to folks who are already shopping or shopping for the holidays, especially with things continuing to be difficult with the supply chain, that this is something that you can latch onto and use. And also just another reminder, I know we've talked about this in other events and Roundtable, is don't forget, if you've done an indie study, definitely use this as the backbone for your campaigns, talking about the difference between, buying at independents versus national chains. This always gets people's attention when you're talking, especially when you're talking about, the time of inflation, that their spending is really going to result in more great things for your community, more prosperity. So don't forget about that. So what I really want to do is I want to hear what some of you are planning on doing. What are your questions and goals? And you're welcome just to kind of do popcorn style, or if you want to raise hands, I can do that too. Marianne.
I raised my hand first because, sorry, I was just cutting and pasting and I accidentally put everything in the chat and I didn't mean to do that until a more appropriate time. So I apologize.
Oh, no worries.
So I'll just jump in. First of all, if for folks on the call who haven't been a partner in the past, Jen's Google Doc is like no other. I've never really partnered with anybody who keeps it that up to date and calls things out that are new as specifically as this document does, so that you think it's a lot of information, but you're very quickly able to discern, like, okay, I've read this. Okay, this is new. And it's super helpful. So thank you for that.
Sure.
We are planning to repeat something that was successful last year. It's an Instagram campaign. So intentionally, we created a bottleneck by which local notables had to submit their favorite places to shop, buy gifts, eat, to a communications expert. And so as it happened is the communications representative for the city of New Orleans ended up being our person. That part remains to be seen for this coming year. But what I can show you is that we reposted, the city hosted, this got a lot of traction. So the second post I put in has over 5,000 interactions, which is a lot.
Yeah.
So it was a matter of timing and dispersing. And also we did a lot of planning before launching it in terms of how to, we anticipated responses from the local notables that we were asking to contribute, who would say, oh, I can't get in trouble. My cousin owns a business, but then I represent a district where I want to call out those businesses and this and that, and I want to be equitable. So we designed something that could look to some people like they wouldn't want to use that same type of design, but we did it intentionally so that it had room for a lot of businesses to be listed. Some notables just chose 3 or 4. Some packed it full. So it was a good initial response, proof of concept. We're doing it a second year. We're probably not going to change much about how it looks, but I could see changing how it looks in other years. But I think consistency from year 1 to year 2 will probably keep it how it looks. Reach out to other people and add a category that is favorite new business, or like new business, or place I'm excited to source gifts from this year.
Mute. Yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye out for that. Thank you. Let's see, who else do we have with ideas and questions?
Maybe Bill has a question or had his hand up.
Oh, why am I not seeing those hands up? Who has their hand up? Go ahead and ask your question. Thanks, Kathleen.
I met Derek a few months ago at an event here in Burlington, Vermont, and connected me with you all. And so we're taking on the challenge of independent retailing and online shopping a little differently. We're running a pilot in 2 weeks, an online shopping platform that searches by proximity. So people can shop online, and yet when they place an order for a toaster or a box of Legos or a pair of shoes, that order falls into a point of sale system in the independent retailer that might be 2 miles away. And then Mighty does the fulfillment, also picks up all the stuff at the independent retailers and delivers it. So we're allowing people to shop online because that's definitely a thing that people want to do. But we're keeping that money in local communities everywhere. We're increasing personal interactions, which is what people like to do, human beings. And then we're also collecting data, which we're making available to communities so they can see what people are shopping for, make it easier for them to plan inventory and all that kind of stuff. So mighty.com.
Yeah, could you add that to our chat just so people could check it out? I'm glad you're here.
Well, we're very excited, and yeah, in September 19th and 20th, we have over 200 people signed up as beta shoppers, and we have, I think, 15 independent retailers in Burlington who are signed up to be beta shops. All sorts of different stuff, home goods, shoes. I'm drawing a blank, of course. Pretty wide selection. Hard to get the electronics. Is that's a big online shopping thing, and there are not that many retailers that actually carry electronic stuff. But that's probably the weakest category that we've got.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll put that in the chat.
Thanks, Bill.
Let me know if you have questions.
I'll jump in. I don't know how to raise my hand, so I hope it's okay that I just do that. Actually, it was through this group that I met a number of folks on the call, including Marianne. We had a conversation months and months and months ago about a holiday preparedness concept that Stay Local had run in the past, and our organization has our regular networking cycles like we all do, where we met some of our members who are doing more like fraud-based work and preparing your bank accounts and all sorts of things. And so as a complement to the types of things that Jen showed and we plan on running this year, we're also going to offer this just kind of workshop seminar-y space so that members can learn a little bit more, because so many people through the pandemic, either they had online retail before or they launched online retail as another revenue source or way to get out to the community during the middle of pandemic things. And it's been a big issue. We've worked with a number of businesses who needed to change their payment style with us because they had card issues or packed accounts or whatever those things were for them, and what a headache that is. So we are planning right now, and hopefully we'll be kind of finalizing to get the details out in October, a late October based workshop where we'll have a bank is going to sponsor this opportunity, and it helps us bring on a few different resources. So the bank will talk about securing your bank account during the holiday, and one of our tax-based friends is going to talk a little bit more about just like general 101 based fraud things. So not to scare members, but to make sure that they feel prepared going into that season when they're probably looking at a multitude of things and not particularly hyper focusing on all of their tools and resources and the way that people kind of engage with those, including like retail fraud, which has been a big part of what our accountants here have noticed on the ground and are fighting against. So we're excited to offer that, and we're inspired by what Stay Local has been doing with that. And we're excited to meet some people on the ground here in Michigan who are willing and able to do that with us. Something else that I just wanted to share that we are looking to launching alongside our holiday campaign this year as well We've had lots of different like lenses or ways that we've encouraged people to take action to buy local, whether that was consider your like local neighborhood shop hop opportunity, or using the directory, determining like, ownership styles that you really want to support, all sorts of things. This year we just recognize both for what you were sharing too, but like that human centered, like people just want to interact with each other. More of a like character based guide. So starting with this idea of like, where are you starting your shopping from? You're looking at like, I need to buy for my grandma Sally. I need to buy for my sister's husband. I need to buy for, you know, all of these people. And so we're looking at this idea of creating like characters who kind of match the criteria and lenses that we have on the ground. So how can you shop for your friend who's sustainably minded? Or how can you shop for your friend who loves experiences? How can you purchase for your friend who X, Y, and Z thing, and kind of building some of that up so it feels like a person you know on your list, and then we can point them to our directory, our B Corps here on the ground, all those folks who provide those kind of tools, and give people a little more tangible way to take that action or demonstrate what that action can look like. Reminds me a lot of what you shared, Marianne, where it's like, here's a figure people know and things that they love. So like helping people kind of get to that level. So those are two new things from us that we're going to test and kind of see how they work for our community.
Awesome. I love that expansion of this whole thing, because I work with another organization just north of us, Vital Communities, based in White River Junction, Vermont, and they're always looking for ways to kind of go beyond the shop into some other connections. So that's perfect. I'll definitely reach out and learn more from you both about those campaigns.
What was the name of that organization in White River Junction?
It's Vital Communities. Let's see. I know some new folks popped in. Welcome. We shared a little bit about what campaigns or mini campaigns we have going on, but right now we're just sharing ideas for how you want to celebrate Shop Indie Local holiday season during the months of November and December, and what kind of questions you're having or obstacles you're having with starting something like this or continuing something like this this year.
Can I ask another question if nobody's jumping in there?
I don't hear from anybody else, so go for it, Bill.
So we're very interested in communities that have a big buy local sentiment, and because we feel our studies are showing that there are a lot of people who are really committed to buying local, but they don't have the time, or it's mostly time that they don't have to actually go out and buy all the stuff that they want. And so they're shopping with Amazon or Chewy feeling guilty about it. And so that's part of what drives us to do what we're doing, because we want to give them an option to buy local but make it easy. And so we're interested in, so what other communities would be like Burlington, have a lot of people that want to buy local but feel guilty that they can't because they don't have time. And so I'm interested in hearing from anybody that feels like they're in a place that has a strong buy local community that maybe Mighty could help with the next time we expand.
This is Liz from Hudson, Ohio, and I think we would probably fall into that category. A small, well-to-do community with a lot of local shops, some chains, mostly clothing, no big boxes. And I definitely think we might be very interested in that.
And I see some other heads shaking. So Bill, we can definitely send out in the follow-up email a link, or I can get if it's okay to share your contact information so people can reach out. I know the Cider Monday would be a great opportunity for me to make the connection, because we're always looking for solutions, whether it's an online marketplace that people are already using or looking to expand to something else. So I know that there'd be a lot of interest, so we can definitely help you make those connections.
Great, thank you.
You bet.
And yeah, anybody can send me an email also, bill@myti.com.
Great.
This is Liz again from Hudson. One thing that we do over the holidays, the Chamber of Commerce, this I think will be its second or maybe third year, holds a sip and shop. Most of our many of our stores aren't open in the evenings, although we try to encourage it, especially at the holidays. And I don't know if any of you are in a DORA district. I don't know if DORA is even anywhere except in Ohio. But DORA is a very cool concept. It stands for Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area. And so our main area of shops on Main Street, and then a new area called First and Main behind it, is part of this DORA district. So people can buy an alcoholic drink at one of 11 or 12 places, and then they can walk around and shop. So we're trying to encourage people to do that, because as most of you probably know, if you're drinking, you're going to spend money a little more freely. So anyway, the chamber does that very specifically for a couple of Thursday nights in December. And we're thinking maybe we could expand upon it.
Oh, great. Yeah. I'll just see sip and shop all united. Sarah, you have your hand up.
Yeah, we do something similar. It just was passed, and we have an area of downtown, a street, and it's called Sip and Stroll. So very similar. And it's stickers on like cups to kind of keep things within the street. And they just started doing that. We also have a lot of involvement with different night markets in the area. So I'm from North Carolina, so in the Raleigh area. So we have Apex, Cary, obviously Raleigh, and a few other ones for these businesses that don't necessarily have a brick and mortar spot. So especially around the holidays, we do a lot of promotion with them for, we call them the Raleigh night markets, for when people get off of work.
Great. No, talking about night markets and pop-up shops, it's a great way to kind of add to the diversity of offerings, especially if you can get your downtown merchants to see a value of banding together and letting other people come to the table, and how much more people will come as a result of that. Kathleen.
Actually, that was a great segue for a question too that I just had for the group. Things that were not specifically challenges, but we're continuing to think about, because we host our own campaigns and also know that there's so much going on within our communities, and we serve a region, we're West Michigan wide, so a big chunk of our state, but not the whole state. So we're always trying to determine what the balance of sharing out our neighborhood oriented kind of content is versus our own content that we're creating, and where that is natural to overlap, and other times where it's just so much content to be sharing, and how we navigate that. So one of my questions, just like, are others navigating that? How do you typically maintain that balance? If that's something you also are thinking about. And my other question is separately for kind of after the holidays. Is there anything that your groups are doing, particularly in slow retail times for January, February, to kind of counteract the holiday season? It's something that we know happens every year, and we've tried a few small things, including just amplifying that message that it's really important to be supporting our retailers during January, February, because it is slow. But if you have any interesting ways to kind of counteract that or elevate that message, yeah, we're thinking a little bit more about that.
Great questions. Anybody have some thoughts?
Liz again from Hudson. We do a chocolate walk. This is an idea we stole very directly from a neighboring town. As a matter of fact, so many neighboring towns do it that we had to move ours up almost a month. so that we weren't overlapping. But we sell 200 tickets for $25 each and get the merchants to agree to make 200 pieces of unique chocolate and include a bounce back coupon. And then we get sponsors and we have a big brightly colored bag. So on that day, that Saturday in late January, you have 200 people walking around town with a bright yellow or orange bag going into at least 25 shops. They always find places that they haven't been before. And the merchants and the participants seem to like it. Last year we added, because of the Dora, we added a adult beverage section to it, and that was extremely well received. So we're going to do that again this year.
Super. Love the chocolate walk. We have in North Conway, New Hampshire, they have a cross-country skiing chocolate tour that I've participated in, and you can feel it coursing through your veins, but at least you're skiing in between all the stops. So that's definitely a unique one, but I love that idea of a walk.
We're located right next to like a big university area. So during the summer is one of our biggest slow periods when all the students leave. And we do a $4 Fridays. So we work with vendors specifically on Hillsborough Street here. And they offer a special for $4 and they participate, they put a sign in their window if they're participating, and people are encouraged to walk down and shop for their $4 specials.
That's great. Anything else in terms of balancing the sharing of other people's events and your own event and just feeling like you're flooding people?
So I'll interject. I'm Kendra with the Merchants of Hudson. So I work really closely with Liz, but how the Merchants of Hudson works is we are all business owners and we represent about 80 different businesses, but we felt like it's one thing to be a chamber and you have a different mindset than when you're a business owner and you kind of have different advertising and marketing needs that weren't really being met in Hudson. So we formed Merchants of Hudson decades ago, Liz did, and what we kind of feel is a small issue is we are such a really cute historical downtown area, and when we really want to try to push the information out to all of our members and say, hey, be ready, we're going to have this event downtown and then this event, and you're going to have a live nativity from the church, and then they're going to have carriage rides. A lot of times they don't read their email because there's so many things going on. They just cannot handle all of that. So we have tried the SIP. Well, what Liz was saying was sip and shop. What we had tried was shop late, shop local, because most of our stores, it's Ohio in the winter, close around 6 o'clock because it's dark and the sidewalks just roll up, except for the restaurants. So we tried that every Thursday in the month of December, and we've done it for probably 2 or 3 years, and we kind of feel like it doesn't really have much momentum. So I think we're going to just put more momentum into the shop or the small business Saturday. But one thing that we were planning on doing this year is, because it's such a huge time with events, and events is what brings people to our downtown area, is making a one-sheeter that has every holiday event from November to December. So I made it last year and just kind of sent it by email, but now it's going to be sent out because we have realtors that can use that information, put their little logo on it, and they can use that as they're trying to talk up our city and say, hey, this is the best city to come to, and that kind of thing. We represent so many people besides just retailers that we've been really trying to make sure that we're kind of helping each little segment. So now we're going to just print them out and hand deliver to all 80 businesses so they know what's going on. Either it's, hey, they can make copies and they can share that information with who's coming into their business, or they can have it for the employees where all right, this is when we're going to be busy. We need to be fully staffed. So it's kind of, we have a few different facets of just trying to service, whether it be the retailers and our members, or making sure that we're trying to bring people downtown to shop and to dine and enjoy.
Great. I know some of you, some folks are going to have to jump off. So I just wanted to, before we continue the conversation, I want to put in a plug for our next local leaders roundtable. Jen had to leave early and she apologized, but she did put the link in. So we're going to be talking about social media. So that is on October 13th at 1 o'clock Eastern. Definitely sign on for that free discussion. We'll hear from other independent business alliances on how they do that, since that's a big part of the Shop and D Local campaign, especially for those of you who are spread out. Just thinking about how you're going to amplify everything happening within your state or your region. So definitely check that out. I will also, I put the partners link. So if you do want to sign on as a partner and get my updates, you can go ahead and do that. And also, if you haven't already received or maybe noticed, we're actually having partners sign on to our 2023 Shop and D Local campaigns. That's all of them. So if you're like me and like to plan in advance, you can actually sign up for them now and get some of those toolkits earlier, so you can start kind of really honing in on how you want to strengthen your campaigns. Yeah, so I think we had Bill. Did you have something? Did you have your hand kind of up?
Well, I spent 21 years in retail in Southern Vermont, and I don't know what Hudson's like, but in Vermont, in the wintertime, it's really hard. When I started, I freaked out because it seemed like January 1st, everything stopped, and then nothing happened again until April 15th. And we tried and tried and tried and tried to make stuff happen, and then we got to the point where that was just a time that we put our head down and organized and did a lot of things, because we felt like we put a lot of energy into trying to make something happen at a time when people didn't want to do anything. So I don't want to dampen any enthusiasm, but that's a hard time. And then April 15th, I think people pay their taxes or realize that, and then all of a sudden it all started again. So that's just what we found.
No, I appreciate that perspective as well. I worked at a food co-op, so it would definitely be my time to get ready for the next holiday season. So,
right.
Any other last questions? Ideas? I appreciate everyone being here. And just know that I'm here. I'd love to hear more from you about your goals, especially if you have specific goals in mind that might be different from everyone else. Again, the more you tell me, the more I can dive in and find some cool resources and ideas from others, not from my brain, but from the collective hive, because you guys are amazing. All right. Well, I will give you.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Jen. Thank you very much for putting this together, and you all for speaking, because it gives me hope. Because sometimes, I'm so focused on what the giants are doing, and it seems like all they're doing are putting people out of business. And it's good to know that there's a collective working the other direction.
Absolutely. Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your Friday, and hope to connect with you again soon.
Thanks so much, Jen. It was great to hear from all of you. Thank you.
Great to see your name and hear your voice.
All right. Speak with you all soon. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.